Adapt or die. I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's the truth. As we continue on with my series of the painful truths of voiceover, we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But today it's Friday, so we do Q&A on Friday, and I'm so glad you're here to the Morning Huddle. I'm Bill DeWeese. I am a professional voiceover talent. I've been recording voiceovers full time for the past 17 years. I've recorded over 10,000 paid projects. I'm also a voiceover coach and a voiceover demo producer. And every weekday morning at this time, we get together for a few minutes to share a voiceover thought to help you to become more profitable, to make more money as a voiceover talent. And if you have a question on your mind regarding voiceover, put it in the live stream along with your name and where you're watching or listening from this morning. And I'll get to some of those here in just a bit. So today, let's talk about adapt or die. I know that sounds a little frank, but it's the truth. And let me illustrate it by sharing with you a story about a this little chain of stores. This is long ago in a land far away. And what they did, what this business did was that it had this really cool business model of renting out movies. You could literally go to the store, and by the way, this place is called Blockbuster. Some of you may actually remember this place. You would drive there, and when you would go pick out early on, it was like VHS tapes, magnetic tapes, and then it became DVDs. And you would pay, and then you would watch them for a few days and bring them back. And it was awesome because it brought you the convenience. I mean, it was like cutting edge stuff because you no longer had to go to the movie theater. You could go to this place that had all the latest, greatest movies and rent them and watch them and bring them back. I used to go there every Friday night and rent a handful of movies. I mean, that was the routine. Where is Blockbuster today? They're a dinosaur. They are extinct. Actually, I did see a documentary not long ago that was a documentary on the last Blockbuster, and I don't even know if that one's still around, but as of a few years ago, there was one. There were thousands of them, understand, thousands of them. So why don't they exist anymore? It was so cool. It was amazing to be able to go to this place and just go to the shelf and just shop for what you wanted, grab the movie, take it home, pop it in the DVD. I mean, what was wrong with that business model? Well, the thing that was wrong with it, actually, there was nothing wrong with it at the time. It was that was the best technology available or the best process for us to be able to get movies and entertainment and rent video games. But today, it's a download. It's a download. You can sit in your home and you can literally, well, either download it or stream it. I mean, most of us just stream it. And it's cheap. Oh my gosh. I mean, with a Netflix subscription, you can access maybe not every movie in the world, but thousands of movies and documentaries. It's amazing. Why would anybody get into the Blockbuster business of renting videos? They wouldn't. Why? Because that's not the way people do it anymore. Kind of see where I'm going with this? Voiceover has changed. All business has changed. The principles of business and marketing always remain the same. They don't change. I still market myself in the same way I do, but the platforms that we use, they're different and they're changing. And you have to be aware of how that works, where these places are, and what the impact of that is. Like, for instance, on prices, yeah, voiceovers don't pay as much today as they did 10, 20, 30 years ago. Why? Supply and demand. It's like computer. Remember what you used to have to pay for a computer? Remember what you used to have to pay for a movie? Easy access brings the price down. The great thing is, if you know how to market yourself as a business, you can still make a lot of money in voiceover. But if you're hanging around trying to charge what people were charging 20 years ago, and you're operating out of that business model, it's just not going to work for you. And there are plenty of people sitting on their couch as I speak, collecting dust, waiting for somebody to call them like they used to do back in the good old days with a job. And they're going to keep waiting because that call's not coming because their agent is not going to rescue them. They must learn to do it themselves and work within the new economy, the gig economy. And guess what? In 10 years, this will be extinct. It continues. The target continues to move and to shift. And so if you want to be successful in voiceover, you need a good product. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, we have to have great audio. We have to be able to do well behind a microphone. But as a business, the way that we market that, the way we the function and that we interact with clients and what we expect for what we do, all of that. We have to shift our expectations and our methods of doing things. So today's hard truth is things are constantly evolving and changing, and you either adapt to what's going on or you die. And like let Blockbuster, I guess, be our example of that this morning. Again, not to be negative, it's just to be realistic. This is all, if you're realistic and you play by the rules and within the framework of what's happening, you can be highly successful in voiceover, but not if you're still playing by the rules of 20 years ago. It just is not going to happen. Well, like I said, I'm really glad you're here this morning. And on that note, if you have a question, throw it up in the live chat and let's just see who's on and what's going on here. Stephen Oshkosh, happy weekend to you. Hey, Mark Lane, how are you doing in Albuquerque? We've got the Big Apple in the house this morning. Stephen in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's a Novi day, or a Novi day. It's a snowy day in Nova Scotia. Stephen, thanks for being here. Hey, Melissa in rainy San Diego. Aaron, good morning to you in Connecticut. How should someone market themselves if they speak two languages? Well, you would use all of the same methods that I talk about, in terms of the same platforms, in terms of direct marketing, demos, except now you have a double barrel shotgun. So, for instance, in your case, you speak Spanish and English. So, you should have demos in Spanish and English so that when, if you're on a pay to play site, for instance, you have an agent, you're setting up gigs on Fiverr, wherever you market yourself, you simply make that second demo available. So it provides more opportunities. And there's a number of places around the world, these huge companies that sell voiceover services and keep thousands of people on their rosters uh, in every language imaginable. Janet in Florida, good morning. As you can see, I'm representing Southern Florida this morning. Good morning to all my Southern Florida friends. Stephen Bucyrus, Carl Lynn in Lake Como, Italy. Hello, Carl Lynn. Hey, Monica in Poland. We've got AJB from Louisville here this morning. Amanda in Alabama. Gretchen and Adrian, Michigan. Rebecca, how are you doing in Michigan? Wade from Philadelphia is here. It's a great day to be alive. Yes, it is indeed. Matthew, good morning to you in Illinois. Neil's in Fairfield. Also, we have another Neil, spelled differently, in Atlanta. Chad, good morning to you in Daytona Beach. Only 87 degrees, he says. Only. We got up to like 70 or 71 here in Southwest Ohio yesterday, and I was stoked. Felt like, compared to what we've had, felt like summertime. Mark in sunny Wilmington, North Carolina. Hey, Laura, how are you doing? A little sore from shoveling snow in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yeah, I can only imagine. There, you can always migrate further south where there's less of that. There's always something to deal with. It's either snow or, I guess, alligators if you go far enough south. I'm thinking of that because of the time we spend in Hilton Head, South Carolina. That place is infested with alligators. Have you ever used Facebook ads to promote your voiceover business? No, no. There are far more efficient and effective ways. I'm not a big proponent of advertising. I'm not saying you can't get work doing that way. And if you do, you need to track it very, very carefully, or it could become a money pit where you're throwing money in and not getting anything back. I don't think ads are the most effective way for voiceover talent to get work. Good day to you, Craig in Alexandria, Louisiana. Carl Lynn says, Blockbusters, it was the perfect Friday night, burgers and popcorn, right? I used to love Friday night is still my favorite night. It's still movie and pizza night with Vicky here, me and Vicky at the house. But I remember it was always, first of all, it was a trip to Blockbuster. And our Blockbuster that we used to go to was right next to a Little Caesars pizza place. Now, Little Caesars, I know, not the best pizza, but it was always so convenient. I could grab a Little Caesars, I could grab a couple movies, bing, boom. We were ready for the weekend. Hey, Ty in Warsaw, how you doing? Warsaw, Indiana, that is. Anthony in Bell Buckle, Tennessee. HAB still owes Blockbuster some late fees. Maybe all of us do. I don't know. We need to check on that. Let's see here. The last Blockbuster deal still exists. Well, of all the thousands, there is one still hanging. I guess there's still a few people that have a DVR or maybe even a VHS. Could it be? Probably. Good morning from Chicago. Fabiana, good morning. Miss Johnny, welcome to the live stream. Gordon in Chile, Abilene, Texas. Oh, hey, John, how are you doing in Rhinebeck, New York? Steve in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Gordon, I loved going in to Blockbuster and reading all the movie cases. Me too. You know what I miss? I miss reading album covers. I was a music geek when I was younger. As a young teenager, I could give you the artist, song, and chart position on almost any given week. And I listened to Casey Kasem like it was a religion every week, and I absorbed everything he said about every artist. And I read all the liner notes. I know who wrote what song, what musicians played on what songs, what studios things were recorded at. I mean, I was a nerd. I was a music nerd. But back to your point, yes, reading like the movie case or reading album covers, love that kind of stuff. Lauren, good morning to you in rainy Memphis. Hey, Rob in the booth early in Loveland. Tanya, good morning, South Philadelphia. Aaron. Let's see. Okay, a little question about what might the future hold with artificial intelligence? That's a good question, Aaron. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know that anybody does, but what I can tell you is that certainly it is having, I think, a very small impact, and as time goes by, that impact could grow larger. What we don't know is how good will it get? I have my doubts about how good AI voice will get because artificial intelligence doesn't understand context. It doesn't feel emotion. Therefore, it can't effectively communicate emotion, which is really what moves people and compels people when it comes to voiceover. So I'm very skeptical about how far it can go in that regard. But all that being said, I think right now people who aren't willing to pay for voiceovers or who are only willing to pay like really bottom barrel prices, they're the ones who are utilizing it. Some of my clients use it, but what they use it for are like scratch tracks. In other words, they'll put a AI voice to a demo or to a video that they're doing, and then they'll send that to me. They hire me to record it, but they use the AI voice to let me just hear the pace of the script, which is fine. Um, so beyond that, all I can say is this. I don't think it will. For those of you who can compete, meaning you've done this for a little while, you've shown that you're able to get some jobs, you've got proof of concept, you're able to market yourself, and you're able to do a good job and serve clients well. I think there will always be work available for voiceover talent. So I'm not concerned about losing my voiceover job anytime soon. Oh, hey, Tony. Guten Morgen to you as well. Denmark, Wisconsin, where it finally looks like winter. And just in time for a week's trip to Arizona. My inner snow sportsman is in confused conflict. Oh, well, God bless you for just even having an inner snow sportsman. I just can't even imagine that. Um, David, happy Friday to you in Lexington, Kentucky. Let's see here. DJ, how are you doing? Got his first agent yesterday. And DJ, by the way, a student in the voiceover blueprint and lives in Korea and has built a highly successful, as a matter of fact, I shared a story one morning here on the live stream, has built a highly successful business. All that without an agent, interestingly enough, but did get his first agent, which will open up, a new source of potential work. So DJ, hey, way to go. Really I appreciate the update and glad to hear that. Good morning from Lake Orion, Michigan. Gordon, if you're not adapting, you are dying. No doubt about that. Best advice I got from you was to pick the low-hanging fruit. Well, I mean, there's no better place to start. You grab the low-hanging stuff, the easy stuff, and then you start working your way up the tree as you gain strength and get better at it. Hey, Tess, Cula, Georgia, you have a good weekend too. Aaron, hello to you in Boston. Tom and Rhonda in Dallas, Texas. Milan, good morning from Montenegro. Good morning to you. Hey, Jolie, no blizzard happened in Minnesota yet, but they got 2 snow days. Congrats on that. Hey, Melissa, Eric in Richmond, Texas, what's going on? AJB misses liner notes too. Man, I still have some albums around, but I loved, I'm sorry. This is, I'm just thinking about it. It gets me going because I remember the smell of a new album, the smell of the vinyl and, even the cardboard thing that it was, there was just a whole experience. It was very tactile. You could smell it, you could see it. And then of course, obviously you could hear it, but just to be able to read those liner notes, it was like reading the back of a cereal box when you're a kid. You know, when you eat cereal and you put that cereal in front of you and you read what's on the back of the box. That's the way I was listening to records as a kid with the album cover. Aaron. Yeah, a lot of questions about artificial intelligence. I mean, obviously, I mean, it makes sense, and I understand the concern, and I think it's something we need to keep our eye on. But as I've said on this stream, and I said recently in an interview with Stephanie Cicerelli of Voices.com and her Vox Talk podcast, and I've talked about on my YouTube channel numerous times, is you can't fight technology. You know, say, well, if we all band together, no, it doesn't. Technology will just literally will steamroll us. That's just the way it works. So what you do, it's more of a, I guess, more of a martial arts thing. Instead of fighting against it, you learn how to move with it. How can you move with it and leverage it to your, you know, to your benefit? And I don't know what all those ways are yet, but I'm sure there are and will be ways. It's just things that we have to watch out for. Things I'm certainly watching out for. All right, let's see here. Steve in Ontario. Good morning, Amanda. Oh, asking about YouTube as a way to market yourself. No, I don't see YouTube as a great way to market yourself. I think it's a great place to put like your demos and point people back to it. But in terms of attracting work, again, I'm not saying you can't get any, but in terms of being the most effective, efficient, the most leverage, I don't think that's not where I would focus my time and energies. Let's see here. See if there's anybody I've missed. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for being here on the morning live stream. I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back Monday morning to do the same thing. Have a great day and talk to you soon.